Alright, strap in ladies and gentlemen, Mr. PiP here, and today I'm not sitting in a comfy cockpit at 30,000 feet. Nope, today I'm crammed inside what I like to call the world's most expensive floating sardine can. A U.S. Navy aircraft carrier, 5,000 souls on board, 0 personal space, and just enough room to question every life decision that brought you here. Now let me ask you something real quick before we dive in. Where are you watching from? Texas, California, maybe somewhere overseas? And more importantly, do you think you could survive even 1 week on this steel beast? Because Hollywood, yeah, they lied to you. You see those cinematic shots of jets launching off the deck like it's Top Gun. What they don't show is what's happening just a few feet below that deck. That's where the real story lives. That's where sailors try to sleep. And when I say sleep, I mean surviving the night. Picture this, a space about the size of a classroom. Now cram in 80 to 100 sailors, stack their beds 3 high, remove all privacy, add constant noise, movement, and stress. Congratulations. You've just entered what the Navy politely calls berthing. The sailors, they call them coffin racks. And trust me, that nickname didn't come from nowhere. Each rack is about 6 feet long, barely over 2 feet wide. You're basically sliding into a human drawer. The mattress, 3 inches thick. I've seen better padding in a parachute pack. And the space between your face and the bunk above you, about 20 inches. That's not sleeping. That's tactical hibernation. Now here's where things get spicy. Right above your head is one of the most violent work environments on Earth, the flight deck. Every 45 seconds, a F/A-18 Super Hornet comes screaming in at around 150 miles per hour, slamming onto the deck like a controlled crash. Arresting cables snap, engines roar, the entire ship shudders like it just got punched by a giant. And you're trying to sleep through that. I'm going to say that again. You are trying to sleep while 50,000 pounds of jet fighter rage detonates above your skull every 45 seconds. So let me throw this at you. Could you do it? Be honest. Drop it in the comments. Yes or no. Because out here, sleep isn't comfort, it's a survival skill. Now, on older carriers like the Nimitz class, you're sharing that space with up to 100 people, snoring, boots clanking, alarms going off, guys coming in and out for watch duty at all hours. It's like trying to sleep inside a subway station during rush hour. That never ends. The newer Gerald R. Ford class tried to fix this. Smaller berthing compartments, around 40 sailors instead of 100. Still crowded, but at least now you don't feel like you're sleeping in a human storage container. But don't celebrate too early, because space, still a luxury. You get one tiny locker, that's it. Everything you own for a 6 to 9 month deployment goes into a box barely big enough for a carry-on suitcase. Uniforms, personal gear, hygiene items. Your entire life compressed into a steel rectangle. And if you're lucky, maybe a small bin under your rack. If not, well, hope you like living minimal. Now let's talk about something that really messes with you. Time. Carriers don't run on a normal 24-hour day. Oh no, that would be too easy. Instead, sailors operate on what's basically a rotating cycle that feels like a 30-hour day. You work a shift, catch a few hours of sleep, get called back up, repeat. Day and night stop meaning anything. Your body clock completely destroyed. And here's the tactical side people don't talk about. Sleep deprivation isn't just uncomfortable, it's dangerous. Reaction time drops, decision-making slows, and on a carrier, where one mistake on deck can kill you or someone else instantly, that matters a lot. So commanders have to balance this constant equation, keep operations running 24/7 without breaking the humans running the machine. And let me tell you, that balance is razor thin. Some sailors go weeks without seeing daylight, working below deck, sleeping during the day, waking up in what feels like a different world every time. The only constant, noise, machinery humming, boots hitting steel, announcements blasting overhead. This ship never sleeps, but somehow the people on it learn to. They tape photos of family inside their lockers. They build routines inside chaos. They joke, they adapt, they survive. Because when you're packed this tight for months, your shipmates stop being strangers. They become your world. So here's my question to you, Commander. If you were in charge of this floating city, Would you redesign the sleeping system, give sailors more space, or do you accept the trade-off to keep maximum operational power? Because out here, every inch matters. And we're just getting started. Because if you think sleeping is rough, wait until I show you what it takes just to take a shower. All right, now that we've barely survived trying to sleep in a metal drawer under a jet engine, let's talk about something even more personal: staying clean. And trust me, on a carrier, this is where things go from uncomfortable to borderline insane. You see, fresh water out here isn't something you just turn on and forget about. Yeah, these ships can convert seawater into fresh water, but when you've got 5,000 people on board, every drop becomes a tactical resource. This isn't your bathroom back home. This is controlled consumption. Welcome to the famous Navy shower. Here's how it works. You turn on the water, get wet, 10 to 15 seconds. Then you shut it off completely. Soap up everything. And then you turn it back on just long enough to rinse. Total time, about 2 minutes, maybe less if there's a line behind you, and there will be a line behind you. So let me ask you, how fast can you actually shower? Be honest, because out here, hesitation means the next guy is already knocking on the metal door. Now imagine doing that after a 12-hour shift. Sweat, grease, fuel residue, maybe saltwater spray if you've been topside. And you've got about 120 seconds to reset yourself like a human being. That's not hygiene. That's a timed operation. And the showers themselves, tight. Metal stalls, barely enough room to turn. Privacy? Minimal. You wear shower shoes because fungus spreads faster than rumors on deployment. You learn real quick. Comfort is optional. Efficiency is mandatory. Now, newer carriers like the Ford class tried to improve things. They attached bathroom units directly to berthing areas. Fewer hallways, less hassle. On paper, great idea. But here's where reality kicks in. 40 people sharing a handful of showers and toilets. And when schedules overlap, it becomes a traffic jam with soap. But that's not even the worst part. The worst part is when the system fails. Modern carriers use vacuum-based toilet systems, kind of like airplane lavatories. Efficient, they said. Advanced, they said. Yeah, until they clog. And when they clog, oh boy, we're talking entire sections of the ship losing bathroom functionality, overflowing toilets, sewage backing up onto the floor, sailors coming off shift, exhausted, and now dealing with something that looks like a disaster zone. This actually happened on ships like the USS Gerald R. Ford, repeatedly. Now, picture this scenario. You've just finished a brutal shift. Maybe you've been on the flight deck coordinating launches. Maybe you've been deep in engineering spaces monitoring reactor systems. You're tired, dehydrated, running on fumes. And now you can't even use the bathroom. So what happens? People improvise. Some use sinks. Some use bottles. Some just hold it, which creates real medical problems, especially for female sailors. And suddenly, something as basic as sanitation becomes a serious operational issue. Because here's the truth. When morale drops, performance follows. And on a warship, that's not just uncomfortable. That's dangerous. Now let's shift gears a little because, believe it or not, things are about to get even more intense. Feeding 5,000 people, 3 meals a day, plus midnight rations around the clock. We're talking about a floating city that consumes roughly 17,000 meals every single day. That's not cooking. That's industrial-scale logistics. Massive 80-gallon pots, ovens the size of small rooms, hundreds of pounds of meat, vegetables, and supplies moving through the system daily. It's like running a battlefield supply chain, except instead of ammo, you're delivering calories. And let me tell you, food isn't just about nutrition out here. It's morale. It's routine. It's one of the few moments sailors get to breathe. But even that is never guaranteed. You miss your meal window because of a drill or emergency. You might not eat for another 7 or 8 hours. So what do sailors do? They stash snacks, even though technically that's not allowed. Why? Because in a 24/7 operational environment, nothing is predictable. Now think bigger. This isn't just about food, water, or sleep. This entire system is what allows the U.S. Navy to project power anywhere on the planet, whether it's the Strait of Hormuz, the South China Sea, or somewhere you've never even heard of. This floating machine shows up ready. But here's the question nobody asks. What happens if all of this breaks down during real combat? What if you're running full flight operations, launching jets every minute, while dealing with clogged systems, exhausted crews, and stretched logistics? That's where things get real. So let me throw this to you. If you were the commander of this carrier, what would you fix first? Sleep, water, food, or sanitation? Drop it in the comments. I want to see how you think. Because coming up next, we're diving into the part that ties everything together. Morale, psychology, and why, despite all of this, these sailors still make it work. Now here's the part that really separates theory from reality. You can build the most advanced warship on Earth, nuclear reactors, cutting-edge radar, endless jets on deck, but none of it matters if the people inside the machine start to crack. And that's what this all comes down to, the human factor. Because life on a carrier isn't just physically demanding, it's psychologically relentless. You are never alone, ever. You sleep surrounded by dozens of people. You eat in crowded mess decks. You shower on a timer. You work in noise that never truly stops. Even when you find a quiet corner on the ship, maybe a sponson overlooking the ocean, wind cutting across the deck, horizons stretching forever, you still know there are 4,999 other souls sharing that steel island with you. That pressure builds, slowly, quietly, constantly, and yet somehow these sailors adapt. They turn the mess deck into a social hub. Long tables, trays sliding across metal, people laughing, complaining, sharing stories. It's not just food, it's connection. It's where you decompress after a brutal watch, where you remind yourself you're not alone in this chaos. Sometimes it's the smallest things that matter most. Fresh cookies coming out of the galley, a decent cup of coffee. On some carriers, even something like a Starbucks setup feels like striking gold in the middle of the ocean. Little wins inside a very hard life. But don't mistake that for comfort, because everything you've seen so far gets amplified by one brutal reality. This ship never stops. Flight operations can run for 12 hours straight. Maintenance crews rotate endlessly. Reactor systems hum without pause. The carrier is a 24/7 engine of power projection, and the people inside it have to match that rhythm. So they develop instincts. You learn which shower is least crowded at 0300. You memorize meal schedules like a survival map. You figure out how to fall asleep in minutes, no matter the noise, because if you don't, you won't function. That's not normal life. That's controlled chaos. Now zoom out with me for a second. Because this isn't just about one ship. This is about why the United States Navy still dominates global naval power. A carrier isn't just steel and jets. It's a fully integrated ecosystem. Logistics, discipline, training, and most importantly, people who can endure conditions most civilians wouldn't last a week in. Now compare that to rising competitors. China is building carriers fast, no doubt. Russia has tried, with mixed results at best. But the real question isn't just who has the biggest deck or the newest jet. It's this: do they have crews who can operate at this level for months under this kind of pressure? Because hardware can be copied. Human resilience, that takes generations. So, here's where I want your take. Where are you watching from? And do you think China or Russia can realistically match this level of carrier operations in the next 10 to 20 years? And one more thing. If a real conflict broke out tomorrow, what asset do you think the US would deploy next alongside carriers? More drones, hypersonics, submarines? Drop your predictions. I read those, because at the end of the day, this is what most people miss. When you see a carrier on the news, jets launching into the sunset, power projected across some distant ocean, you're looking at the tip of the iceberg. Below that deck are 5,000 people living in conditions tighter than most prison cells, showering in 2 minutes, eating on a schedule that can disappear at any moment, and sleeping under the roar of jet engines. And they do it willingly, proudly. That's the real story. Steel doesn't win wars, people do. And the next time you see one of these floating cities cutting through the ocean, just remember, it's not just a war machine. It's 5,000 human beings holding the line. This is Mr. PiP, and I'll see you in the next mission.